of silence. I can barely feel the pain. Blind and deaf to all the violence, and I've always felt this way. On the wind, a smell of misery, fear and death perfume the air. It begins again in mystery, and I always end up there, always unsuspecting, so easy to lure them away from all the angels within. I am running from something I'm becoming, unstoppable, and I'm coming from the something that I'm running from, becoming one, always running like something might be coming to follow me, and I'm running from the something that I'm coming from, becoming one. I am letting go of all I know from this buried well of consciousness. I can barely hear the rain. Everyone becomes anonymous. All their faces seem the same. Always unrelenting, descending into our own nightmare. From this twisted fantasy, falling far away from the beauty of annihilation, into the faceless space beyond. I am running from something I'm becoming, unstoppable, and I'm coming from the something that I'm running from, becoming one, always running like something might be coming to follow me, and I'm running from the something that I'm coming from, becoming one. I've become something they all run from. I want you to be gone, but I know you've just begun. Why am I now to everything I have done? There's no going back for me. Becoming has taken its toll on me. I am running from something I'm becoming, unstoppable, and I'm coming from the something that I'm running from, becoming one, always running like something might be coming.
What's going on, guys? Shout out to Wolfpack. Shout out everybody in the Alien Invasion. Today, we will be launching a raid, an invasion upon the studios of Techland. Yes, Techland, who made Dying Light 1. They actually made Dead Island and Dead Island 2 Riptide. Dead Island being one of my favorite zombie games ever. And they also made Dying Light 1. Dying Light 2 dropped February 4th, 2022. And it released on all platforms. I mean, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and it dropped on PC as well. I got my copy on PC. However, I did not like the PC bindings and the controls, so I ended up playing on controller, and my experience was way better on controller than it was mouse and keyboard, which is kind of surprising. Remember, guys, I greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button to show the Wolfpack some love. Subscribe if you want to join the Alien Invasion. And let's actually just jump right into the review.
Just calm down. There are a lot of them. But I am prepared.
So let's start off with the visuals. The game is kind of weird because sometimes it looks good and amazing.
You made your choice, fuckers. Nobody gets to lie.
And other times it falls flat on his fucking face and looks like this.
What did I do to you? Let me go, please.
It's a lot like a shallow, basic ass boring bitch. She looks great on fantastic on the outside. The moment you get in close enough to experience her personality, she has as much personality as a goddamn baseball bat. What I mean is the game looks great from the rooftops and the skylines, or when you're paragliding and grapple hooking through the city, looks amazing. But the moment you get up close and personal with the game, it looks very bland and lackluster and dull and gray. The textures in the map and the layout of the map itself actually look rather unfinished. The clothes hang up on fucking nothing. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be hanging up on a coat rack or some bullshit, but they're hanging up on literally thin air. The grass looks like the fucking kelp from SpongeBob. The outside of the buildings look generic. The character models are heavily reused, especially the Renegade faction. They all have the same build and armor, literally. None of them stand out. The zombies also leave a lot to be desired, with most of the models being generic. The special infected look just as boring as their non-specially infected counterparts, so everything in the game looks kind of just tacky and thrown together at the last minute. And like I said, the clothes don't even hang up properly. You cannot make this shit up. Like this was like the straw that broke the camel's back, obviously, is when I looked into this guy's closet and I seen his drip and I seen his fit, and I was like, what the fuck am I even looking at? And then I looked above and the clothes weren't even hanging on anything. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm done with this game. However, I did not give up. I sat and I reviewed the game for you guys so you guys can know not to buy this piece of shit. However, the worst is yet to come, because the worst comes in the map design. The design of the map itself, like how most of the building layouts are literally the same, with the same location for chest and loot. There are also side activities on the map which share the same layout too. So they have these things called night hollows and GRE outposts and GRE anomalies and stuff. Basically, if you've gone to any one of these things, you've gone to all of them in the game, practically. So sometimes they're like slightly different, and I mean like very slightly different in terms of layout. Like maybe an extra room or a bathroom, or maybe a chest in the right corner instead of the left corner of the room. It's real minor changes like that, and it makes exploring the map and trying to get immersed in the map kind of boring. Like I said, the game is really unfinished and unpolished. I mean, you have shopkeepers that sit there and literally are I can't make this shit up, guys. They're T-posing. 90-80% of the shops I went to go talk to the guy, and he was fucking T-posing like a goddamn like the Iron Giant. What is this? What is going on? Fix your fucking game, please. Again, it's 2022, guys. This should not be happening in these AAA games. You play as a guy named Aiden Ross. Yes, of course, that Aiden Ross. And you can dress Aiden Ross in a bunch of different ways. You can dress him in outfits and gear that you can find pretty easily throughout the game. The shirts don't matter much cosmetically, as it's a first-person game. However, you can look at your pants, gloves, and shoes, all if you like just look down at yourself. So, and then when you're climbing and stuff, you get a good look at your gloves. So really, you're gonna be looking at that type of gear cosmetically if you're into stuff like that. Like if you're into fashion shows. However, you can tell not much effort went into the visual design of the game or of the outfits. The colors, now that I think about it, are usually gray and ugly, and they aren't any differing textures or designs really in the game. There's no biomes in the game also that really stand out. You have like a certain poison sections on the map, but none of them really, stand out and look like remotely good. The same can and will be said for the most of the weapons in the game. A lot of the weapons look the same, especially the axes and hammers. You have a couple of cool designs like the gun hammer, which is a gun in the shape of a hammer. It's like the butt end of the gun and you use it as a hammer. I know, pretty original, right? Gun hammer and whatever. Or the kaboom stick. The kaboom stick was pretty good, which is a missile on a stick, which I thought was cool. But it doesn't make up for the fact that the weapon variety is really poor. You also find weapons every fucking where, which sounds good, but you find them literally under every nook and fucking cranny in the game. And a lot of them are common weapons, so you'll end up using a lot of inventory space, which, like I said, it sounds good. You're finding a bunch of weapons, but it's going to be cluttered with all junk fucking weapons that you can't really sell either. So there's no point in really scavenging the weapons. And then there's also an exploit in the game where, not really an exploit, but you can optimize the game, I should say, where you use a certain amount of the durability and then you put a mod on the weapon which repairs it. So you can usually end up having a weapon for a very long time, especially if you play the game like I did and really tried to avoid combat, because combat was kind of meh. Another sin that this game commits is the fucking frame rate. The frame rate is atrocious at times. Luckily the game never crashed on me, but I think it crashed maybe like one time. But I felt like it was a demon gripping my GPU at all times. And I have a 2070 Super, which is a fucking blessing from God and an angel. So it should never drop frames due to a shitty game. So Techland should definitely do a better job at optimizing their games. And for no fucking reason, there's no reason this game should be optimized. Like I said earlier, you're going to be loading up garbage ass pixels like the kelp. Like I said, the grass literally looks exactly like fucking kelp in this game. Now, granted, a lot of the times my frames would drop near the inner city parts where it was a lot of shit to load, a lot of kelp grass to load, a lot of garbage zombies to load, a lot of garbage clothes and gray textures. But there's no excuse really for a game that should be optimized. It's 2022, guys. Optimize your games. Like, I'm sorry, especially when your game is partnered with NVIDIA. I have an NVIDIA card, all my graphics drivers, everything's updated. I should be able to run your game with my correct settings. So we should have this done by now. Now, the parkour was what I was actually looking forward to, but the combat wasn't half bad either. Honestly, I always loved Dead Island and Dying Light's physics in combat. Your weapons usually feel like they have weight, and when you crack a motherfucker on the head, they really reel backwards. Getting a crit on them or hitting them at a specific angle will make them fall over. You can stomp on their head, which is always brutal and satisfying. You can also hit specific body parts, which will cause differing effects. So you can break a zombie's arms or legs, crippling them and making the fight a little bit easier. So if you hit somebody on the leg, they'll fall down, my leg. Or you can hit them in the arm, cut off their arm, making them only swing with one arm. And even in Dead Island, I never did it in Dying Light 2. I rushed the combat, sorry. But I did it in Dead Island 1 where you were able to cut off the left arm and the right arm, and then the zombie would only like use its head to like nibble and bite at you, which again, Techland did a really good job with physics and stuff. However, I wish the combat skills were a little better. You get some good ones like the grapple or the rush counter and the drop kick, and oh my god, the fucking drop kick has always been fun in the series. Again, their physics are so good with their game engines. But the other combat abilities seem pretty useless, especially the stealth ones. The stealth ones are so bad. There's no reason to go stealth in this game. There's there's literally no point in doing anything stealth in the game. Combat is that easy. To add, most fights happen on rooftops, so you can just throw enemies off the fucking roof or drop kick them off the roof, and boom, the fight's over in a matter of seconds. Another thing that I'm missing out in this game is they had ults in Dead Island 1 and 2. And I thought the game desperately needed one to break the constant loop of swinging mindlessly at the enemy. They tease like an ultimate type mode in the game, almost like a zombie type frenzy where you get as strong as a pharaoh. But they never really fleshed it out, and it never became an official ability in the game, which I thought they really missed out on. You can level up your skills with XP, and unfortunately, at least for me, combat XP was kind of hard to come across. On top of that, you need a resource in the game called inhibitors, which can be found around the map. They increase your health, your stamina, your immunity time. You need a certain amount of health to have specific combat abilities and vice versa. So basically you need a certain amount of stamina in your stamina pool to level up certain parkour abilities. You need a certain amount of health on your health bars to level up certain combat abilities. Speaking of parkour, that leads us to the best part of the game, in my opinion, the parkour system. Running around this barren, boring ass city is actually really freeing and really addictive. The abilities that you unlock allow you to chain your runs together. There's literally no better feeling in this game of chaining your jump into a wall run, from a wall run into a bar swing, and then finally you paraglide off of a roof to kick some unknown doof in the fucking face. You can also unlock a grapple hook in the game later, just like in Dying Light 1, which is a beautiful addition, allowing you more tools in your night running arsenal to run, jump, swing like Spider-Man, kick more doofs in the face, and have a great time. The parkour system was done very well. And now the final piece of the gameplay loop. You know how games usually have a loop of gameplay that they have? This one is scavenging. So you're going to be running, smacking people, and scavenging off of the people you smack. Now, scavenging to me is completely fucking useless. For one, it's boring. And two, it takes way too long to get anything worth a damn to loot. So a lot of the times you have to hold the X button instead of press it, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but oh my gosh, when you kill like 30 zombies in one wave and then you want to loot them all and you got to sit there and really pat everybody down like a goddamn garbage underpaid bouncer outside of a club, it gets pretty annoying. A lot of the valuable chests in the game have locks on them, which doesn't sound that bad because you got a lockpick, but it's annoying when most doors are the same. So basically you can get into a house, pick the damn door, then have to run through the door, pick the damn lock, pick the chest on the lock, then the other lock box in the room, you need to pick that lock, and then sometimes if you get unlucky, there's another box in there that you have to pick the lock to. It doesn't sound too bad, but again, when you running around scavenging in these types of games, you want these things to be done quickly. After I clear out the building, I found the damn building with my exploration, my cool parkourness. I cleared the building out with the kind of bland combat, and then you're gonna make the scavenging even longer. I'll pass. And you go through all of this malarkey just to find some tin foil hat or some damn busted up shoelaces or shoes or maybe some batteries. Ooh, you got lucky and got some rare batteries. All of it is bullshit to me. So they need to do a way better job of updating their scavenging with their game, because scavenging in this game is just Now, of course, we're scavenging all this bullshit for to upgrade our useful bullshit. And for me, I spent most of my time buying the upgrades from the T Titans. You get it, because they're always T posing, to do. I know I'm funny, hilarious, haha. But at least the T Titans give you a fair price on your upgrade parts. They know how to haggle. What can I say? They know how to haggle. However, my final gripe about the combat / the gameplay system is there are so many fucking upgrades in the game. Each blueprint has 9 fucking upgrade tiers. 9. Each requiring more and more expensive resources. What the fuck? Now, this would be fine if you could just go buy the parts, but they make you spend undead trophies in the game, which can only be looted from dead zombies. And the drop rates are so low. You can kill a whole horde of zombies, maybe get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 or 4 if you get lucky. And to upgrade, just the first upgrade, you need 5. Then the second upgrade, you need 10, 15, 20. This forces the completionist to grind. If you're a completionist, it's going to force you to grind out a ton of resources in the game for no reason. You don't actually need to upgrade anything, because I rushed through the game. Take it from Wolf. It is not worth grinding out undead trophies. Psst, over and out. Now, story. Boring story. Didn't know what was going on for like the longest time. Like, seriously, I didn't know anything that was happening at all. It's a post-apocalyptic, I can never say that word, zombie game. And everybody they don't want to do their own shit. I thought this time around in Dead Island 1 they made it make sense because you were immune to the virus. This time you get infected in the first mission, so you're not immune to the virus. But everybody has you doing everything that they can do themselves, but they want you to do it. And then they all hate you for it because you're a pilgrim. I don't know what the fuck that means, but apparently pilgrims are not liked. But pilgrims go get everything that everybody needs. So, yeah. Shout out to the pilgrims. However, one thing this game does very well in the story is this butterfly effect. I love when games, especially RPG games and open world games, I love when games give you a butterfly effect. Your choices always matter, and they always should matter. It's really good when you add it and incorporate it into RPGs. I love that. And this game actually draws from the waters of The Witcher, where your side missions also offer a little bit of the butterfly effect, which I thought was really cool. It actually got me intrigued into the story when I went down into the holding cell and you see Jack and Joe there, and they got arrested. If you let them live, again, your butterfly choice in the main story, you let them live, they give you a side quest. And the side quest leads you down to another side quest, which tells you what, like, they were involved in this big ass massacre that happened. And then the other guy that you heal with the witches, herbs, and herbalist things was the only survivor of said attack. Now, Jack and Joe would get framed for this if it wasn't for you healing the other guy in this. And both of these missions were side quests, which I thought was really cool that they allowed the butterfly effect to happen inside, because a lot of games don't allow you to do that. But unfortunately, guys, the story is just boring. It's another zombie game struggle with bringing a fresh new story. So I'm going to help the developers of Techland out a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of wolf insight. I'm going to help anybody out there that want to make a zombie game. Here, I'm about to give you guys some good constructive criticism. Try these ideas. Maybe they'll work. Okay, so I had this idea while making the review. Maybe have a game where the outbreak is just starting out. We never get a game where the outbreak is like really like fresh starting out. I'm talking like 60 seconds. You know how the game, or 60 minutes maybe? Is it 60 minutes or 60 seconds where you get the you get all your gear before the outbreak happens, and then you go into the underground bunker and then you play the game out. It's like a point and click RPG type game. Like, you can have the first 4 hours of your game could be a prologue and intro, learning and learning the controls. You could be a street fighter and fighting people and stuff. Not like Ryu and Ken and Chun-Li. Talking about like a real like rugged kid, because you're a parkour guy. You come from the slums and stuff like that. I'm just trying to tell the story to Dying Light. But yeah, they could do something like that where you start off in the regular city and then the outbreak happens and you can see exactly how the city turns into shit. Most of these games have you, 6 years into, we were 10 years into the outbreak in this game. Like, it's not, like, how many games have done this before, you know? Especially with Techland. Techland has done this 3 other times. Well, this will be their 4th game, right? 3 other times. So Dead Island 1, 2, and Dying Light. So they've done this a lot. Now, Dead Island 1, story-wise, did this. You started off right at the beginning of the outbreak. However, you didn't really grasp that. They didn't grasp that atmosphere of regular survivors or humans just running and trying to survive, frantically going into the grocery stores, running in and out, and going to the gun shops, raiding and looting, and, you know, trying to survive. Kids being abandoned and dogs and cats being abandoned. Like, they could really tell a whole story of what war would do, or what famine or outbreak would do to a country or a populace. And, you know, they can really do something great with that story and deter people away from that. Or they could try their hand at like maybe a Mirror's Edge. Maybe just give up the zombie aspect of it. Try their hand at something like a Mirror's Edge where they can make a better storyline. So Mirror's Edge didn't take itself. The combat really wasn't the focus in Mirror's Edge. The parkour was. And the parkour was so damn good in Mirror's Edge. I had a great time playing that game. And Dying Light has some of the best parkour systems in all of gaming. So I mean, they could really pull off a Mirror's Edge type playthrough. Again, somebody probably in the slums. Maybe he's a spray painter or a tagger of some type of hooligan or ruffian, and he can come from the inner city and just, you know, fuck shit up on the rooftops and run around and, you know, fight the man and fight the system. It could be really good, really good. Okay, that's gonna end my wolf insights. Hopefully you like those ideas. I think those ideas are pretty good. I think it'll be a fresh, you know, change of pace to have a zombie game that is just first starting out, and it's a nice blend of human and zombie, and then slowly you see the zombie part of it overtake and the darkness overtake, and then, you know, of course video games are gonna have the good ending, so then you have the light, you know, come back and win. However, the voice acting in the game was very lackluster at times. It felt read and not performed. Miles don't match up to the speed of words, and I fucking hate that in games. And this has always been a problem with techland games. Since Dead Island 1, their lips never match up to their mouths, or their words never match up to their lips. So it's kind of annoying. Now the game has oh my god, plenty of side quests, but the issue is caring enough about them to do them, and it sucks because some of them have stuff, the butterfly effect, where it could change your standing with the factions. Oops, I actually forgot to mention there's a faction battle going on. Ta-da, you know, sorry guys, it was a pretty big part in the story, but yeah, it's super fucking generic. It's very, on one side you have the survivors, which I know, real creative, they're called the survivors, and then you have these people called the PKs. If you played any game ever at any time, you can probably assume one group acts as the rebels, those are the survivors, and the other group acts like the authority to rebel against the PKs. It's like the Stormcloaks and the Imperials in Skyrim, but with way, and I mean way, they don't hold a candle to how deep that story went. So yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of bad, especially when you have a group called the survivors. Bitch, they're all survivors. The PKs are also survivors. They're all surviving in this outbreak. I don't know how all these people don't band together. And another thing is, I don't know if this is humanity in real life. Like, I think that they would tend to band together. Like, we're not fucking stupid. You see how many zombies is outside? I'm about to be fighting humans and zombies. You got me fucked up. I'm not about to do that. But the issue in this game is that all the goddamn survivors are boring, and nothing makes none of them stand out. Not even the main character. There's nothing there. How many times have we had a story where the guy is looking for his lost wife or his brother or his sister? That's what this game is. In this game, you're looking for your fucking lost sister who's been lost for 10 years. He's still looking for her ass 10 years later. And this is what the whole story is about, is going to go find her. But now the one thing I will say about the story is the ending is very layered. It's like an onion in this swamp. It's like Shrek. It's like, you know, the ending of the game is like really layered, and it's surrounded by swamp and stinky garbage. But if you rush through the game like I did, like Wolf did, you'll get the bad ending. But there are 4 other endings in the game. Yes, I said 4. They have the worst ending one, which is what I got. I know, boohoo, right? A bad ending. They have a good ending, a true ending, and get this, they have a secret ending. Voila, huh? Which is fantastic in terms of replayability. So if you did like this dumpster fuck of a game, you can have multiple playthroughs, all resulting in different endings, which should be fun. However, I'm not a garbage man, so I won't be taking this trash out of its case. Never again. Now, before I send you guys off on your merry way, back into the wolf den where you can chill with me, the alpha, I'm gonna have a new section in my reviews called value. So this is gonna be a section in the review that determines how much value, however much the game is priced. So this game's $60. How much bang for your buck do you get out of the game? That is also a very, important thing to talk about. It's just as important as the story, as it's just as important as your visual experience, is just as important as your scavenging experience. It's important, because money is sometimes it's hard to come by. And I will say, for $60, you get a ton of quality. I mean, if you were to do the whole game, it would probably take you about 30, maybe 40 hours. And I'm pretty sure you can squeeze out 60 if you try. The only problem is quantity over quality. So there's plenty to do, but none of it's good. The game lacks a balance of quality. So while your story can end in 5 different ways, offering you a ton of replayability, it's a boring story and pretty shallow. So you don't get much out of doing it again. No DLC also came with the game other than the pre-order bonuses. They actually dropped some free DLC as I'm doing this review. But the way the story ends, I can't really see them, or the way my story ends at least. I can't really see them doing any more story DLC. Maybe, some standalone content, but other than that, I doubt there'll be more to this game in terms of DLC. I think the game has enough in it to justify the price, honestly. But like we seen with Sifu, a fantastic game that just came out, you can have a way smaller game with a way shorter story and it'd be way better and way more fantastic. Now we're gonna get into the numeric score of my review. Again, this is my opinion. If you don't like my opinion and you love this game, type in a comment section why you love the game, and maybe you can change somebody else's mind. This is just one guy's opinion. This is one wolf's mind, and I'm gonna give the fucking game a 5. A 5. It's below average. Like I said, it's quantity over quality. It's not that great of a game. The parkour is really fun, but everything else in the game is kind of drab and dread. And I remember forcing myself to play through the game actually. After you beat the story, you can't go back and replay the game, which is always a blah. But I mean, honestly, the way the game went, you probably most likely wouldn't want to replay the game anyway. So yeah, if you're thinking about picking up Dying Light 2, I say you pick it up at a cheaper price. If you haven't played Dying Light 1, I say actually play that because Dying Light 1 was better. If you want to get into the old school, techland games, go get into Dead Island, Riptide. Dead Island Riptide was garbage. Dead Island 1, again, was a personal favorite of mine. However, it did not age well, and if I went back to play it, it probably would be garbage now. And that actually had cars in there and stuff. I remember, why did they take the cars out of Dying Light? Anyways, go back and play those games if you want to. Those games are really cheap. Do not get this game. I wouldn't recommend this game at full price at $60. The most I actually would pay for this game would probably be $20. This game is worth $20. It has a lot of content in it for $60, like I said, but none of the content is gonna keep you entertained, especially when they got heavy hitters like Horizon that just came out, Sifu that just came out, Kena that just came out. They got fucking Elden Ring coming out in the same month. As like, these guys are, what are they doing? They should have been ready and prepared. They pushed this game back. Actually, this game was supposed to release with Halo. It didn't release with Halo. It was supposed to release with Halo. So I don't know what Techland was doing with this one, or were they thought they was gonna get a sneaky link in or something. Bitch, my legs is closed. I'm not playing this game again. Again, a 5 out of 10 for me, and I'm sorry. That's just how it is, dog. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button to show the Wolfpack some love, guys. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to join the alien invasion. I hope you guys stay good and awesome. Shout out my wolves and shout out my Martians. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and peace.